Welcome to A Moment of Zen. Time to sit back and relax as model, actress, mentor, and supermom Zen Sams takes you on a sexy and wild ride, covering the latest in film, fashion, pop culture, cryptocurrency, fintech, cannabis, and entertainment from the millennial mom's perspective. Here's your host, Zen Sams.
Hello, my beautiful tri-state area. Welcome to our 132nd episode, almost 3.5 years on the air and going so strong. It's always a pleasure to spend my time with you on the airwaves. Thank you for listening and interacting with me on social media. That truly does make it all worthwhile. Please make sure to follow me at Zen Sams. That's Zen with an X, not a Z. And also remember that we're live on Traverse TV Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern. Of course, all episodes of A Moment of Zen stream 24/7 on Kathy Ireland's Your Home TV platform. That's free programming to you, and you don't need to download any apps. You can always find us on our YouTube channel, of course. We have such a great show lined up for you today. A big shout out to our newest sponsors, Once Upon a Coconut and CO2Lift.com. Very exciting stuff tonight. In our Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, we're featuring Emily Hayden. She wears many hats: podcast host of the Evolve with Emily show, retreat host, speaker, professional athlete, and creator of the Butterfly Effect, a 33-day program to help you reclaim your power, embody your authentic self, and become the co-creator of your life. Emily's journey is nothing short of inspirational. Today, she joins me to chat empowerment, mental health, and how to show up powerfully as the co-creator of your experience. And of course, we'll get her thoughts on Once Upon a Coconut and why she endorses this amazing brand. In our Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2Lift, today we're joined by beauty expert and industry trailblazer Lana Kerr, CEO and founder of CO2Lift and Lumisque Skincare. We're chatting female empowerment, loving the skin you're in, her amazing career, and how she got started in skincare. Surprising facts that people don't know about her, and what it's like to be a female entrepreneur in the male-dominated world of plastic surgery. In our disability awareness segment brought to you by OGPay.com, today we're featuring influencer Dawn Cosgrove. Dawn is 52 years old, a mother of 5. She's been married to Tom for almost 20 years. She has a 28-year-old stepson, 25, 27, and 28-year-old daughters, 2 granddaughters, a 14-year-old adopted daughter from India with a very rare genetic disorder. Today, she's joining me to chat disability awareness, demystifying stigmas, raising awareness, and the importance of inclusion. Stay tuned for our Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, featuring the incredible Emily Hayden. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, 100% pure coconut water. Imagine a drink that's nutrient-rich, powerfully refreshing, naturally sweet with no added sugars, not from concentrate, 0 additives, low in calories, absolutely no artificial flavors, and is so tasty that it will become your new favorite beverage. Enter Once Upon a Coconut, the absolute best tasting coconut water you will ever try. Available in 4 refreshing flavors: pure, chocolate, pineapple, and sparkling with energy. Do your taste buds a favor and pick up some today at onceuponacoconut.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in our Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, today we're bringing you inspiring conversations with an individual who is making a significant impact in her perspective. Today we're featuring Emily Hayden. She wears many hats: podcast host of the Evolve with Emily show, retreat host, speaker, professional athlete, and creator of the Butterfly Effect, a 33-day program to help you reclaim your power, embody your authentic self, and become the co-creator of your life. Emily's journey is nothing short of inspirational. Today, she joins me to chat empowerment, mental health, and how to show up powerfully as the co-creator of your experience. And of course, we'll get her thoughts on Once Upon a Coconut and why she endorses this incredible brand. Welcoming now to the show is the amazing Emily Hayden. Welcome, Stunner.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here today.
I'm so excited to chat with you again. I know we
Yeah.
met on the red carpet at
Mhm.
the Dream Charity Conference in Orlando, Florida, a few weeks ago, and we definitely hit it off. We had some impactful conversations on that red carpet, but now we're here live on iHeart Radio, and we're going to do it all again. So, can you share a bit about your journey and what inspired you to become a podcast host, a retreat host, and the creator, most importantly, of the butterfly effect?
Yeah, thank you. I went along my own personal journey of becoming an athlete and becoming a professional in my field. So I competed in bodybuilding and I started by documenting my journey across social media through Instagram, then on YouTube, and then through my podcast. And I was always talking about evolving and I wanted to show people how to evolve. I wanted to give them a tangible experience of what it was like to work on their personal growth and development and to step into the higher version of themselves. And that's where the retreats were born, where I could in person do this kind of work with each other, with my clients and whatnot. We could work with each other in a very controlled setting in a way that allowed them to show them how much is actually possible when you become really intentional over your thoughts and your actions. So that's definitely the progression of how it's turned from social media into me showing people how to transform their lives, their mindsets, and the way that they show up for themselves.
You say all the right stuff, Emily. It reminds me of a quote from the very famous Rumi. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. That's
Yes.
what your experience reminds me of. Now, the butterfly effect is a unique and intriguing name for a program. Can you explain the significance of this name and how it relates to personal transformation?
Absolutely. So the butterfly effect is comes from chaos theory, and it's this idea that a butterfly flapping its wings in one end of the world can create a hurricane in the other end of the world. So in relation to personal development, it's the idea that one small change that you make, just the one change that you make today that you know is the next right step for you, that it truly has such powerful transformative effects in the rest of your life. So it's taking the idea of the butterfly effect and applying it to your daily life so that every single day you can wake up and ask, what is my butterfly effect today? Sometimes people think it has to be these major changes, and often it's not. Often it's in these small moments that seem insignificant that when we show up for ourselves and we choose the option, the choice that we know is in alignment with our highest self, it's often those small, insignificant moments that create the biggest ripple effects in our lives and everyone else's lives around us.
Words of wisdom coming from a superpower like yourself. I love listening to you speak. Now, you're a professional athlete. You've likely faced numerous physical challenges and setbacks. What was your first reaction when you tasted Once Upon a Coconut, and what health benefits do you love it for?
Yeah, so being an athlete, something that's very important to me is recovery and replenishing everything that I'm depleting when I'm training really hard. So I was never one that enjoyed coconut water very much. I never really liked the taste of it. And then I remember when I tried Once Upon a Coconut, it was like a surprise. It was a surprising element of, oh, I actually enjoy drinking this. And then if you add in the all the health benefits, the electrolytes, replenishing everything that you just depleted during your training session, it just feels good. I can immediately feel the effect of feeling hydrated, which people think hydration is not a big deal. Your body is mostly made up of water. So you remaining hydrated is actually, that could be your butterfly effect today. Like that could be the one thing that allows you to show up better for tomorrow. You'll have better mental clarity, better focus, better ability to show up for yourself in your training sessions or at work or in a meeting. People really, they discount the power of hydration. So I love it because it tastes great and it gives me the effects that I'm looking for to show up as the most optimized version of me.
You said it. You hit it spot on. Proper hydration, without a doubt, impacts your performance. And as a mom, I love coconut water because it's truly proprietary to your point in its health benefits. Potassium, calcium, magnesium, those are all electrolytes and they play extremely important roles, maintaining heart health, liver and kidney health, digestive functions, healthy blood sugar levels, muscle and nerve functions, and just so much more. I specifically started drinking it after my radiation while battling thyroid disease
Wow.
early on in my life. But typically now I use it as a cure-all, even for hangovers, for anything
Right.
really. I mean, at this point, it's a super power food. Now,
Mhm.
your podcast, the Evolve with Emily show, covers a wide range of topics related to personal growth and transformation. What has been one of the most impactful conversations or lessons you've had from the show so far?
Oh, that's a really difficult one because I've interviewed some incredible guests on that show. I think one thing that is coming to mind is a lesson that I learned on forgiveness through interviewing someone who just shared from such a deep place. They were someone who used to be a part of some really bad groups, and through changing their life and choosing to live a straight life, they were able to express forgiveness for some really deep, difficult things that had been done to them when they were younger. And through hearing their journey, just hearing their testimony, I was able to apply that forgiveness to my own life and to people in my own life who I needed to forgive in order to set myself free. People think forgiveness is about the other person, but truly forgiveness is something that you do for yourself to have freedom in your life, to be free from those things that are causing resentments, causing those negative, low vibrational energies within you. And once you realize that it's only impacting you, it becomes much easier to forgive even the unthinkable. So definitely learned a lesson on forgiveness that has stuck with me for my life.
And there's the butterfly effect, because now you just impacted me. Hearing you give me the testimonial about forgiveness just guided my moral compass into a place that I had been having an internal struggle battle with somebody very dear to me. But
Mm.
you're right, forgiveness. There is no room in my heart for hatred. So thank you for sharing that. Now,
Oh,
your true self is your compass. You know, when you follow it, you become the co-creator of a life that resonates with your soul. And authenticity is the path to empowerment, reclaiming your power, embracing who you are, and watching how you become the co-creator of your own miracles. That's really at the bottom of it all. And that's what you're teaching. So I love it. Now, personal transformation often involves breaking through limiting beliefs. Can you share some strategies you teach from the butterfly effect to help individuals overcome these obstacles?
yeah, I think to make it very simple for people, you can look at what are the driving beliefs that are driving your life that make you think something is possible or is not possible for your life, and categorize it into two different things: empowering beliefs and disempowering beliefs. So you can always ask yourself, am I in an empowered state right now to go out there and to do my best and to just go for it? Or am I in a disempowered state that says, this can't happen for me and here's all the reasons why? And here's the thing, we all have limiting beliefs in different areas of life. So don't get into self judgment once you recognize that you have limiting beliefs. Simply look at that and say, okay, what would be the opposite statement of this? What would be the empowering version of this? Right? Like if you think I can't get this job promotion because these other people have more experience for me and they're more qualified. Okay, that's a disempowering belief that is not calling the highest version of you to show up for yourself. An empowering belief would be, I am the right one for the job. I am the person that's going to show up and do my best and work the hardest. I have gained a lot of experience through all of these different jobs and networkings and relations that I've had. So with that, I'm going to allow these beliefs that I know to be true, I'm going to allow these to empower me so that now I can show up. And instead of kind of slugging my way through work, I'm going above and beyond because I know that I deserve this. And because I know that I deserve this, my actions are matching that.
Well said. And you are so right. It's exactly the mindset one has to get to that next level. Now,
Mhm.
hosting retreats is unique. It's a very unique aspect of your work. What can participants expect to gain from attending one of your retreats? And how do these experiences contribute specifically to personal growth?
So these experiences are a container where people can come to work on themselves, experience personal growth and development, connection with self, with the divine, with others, and adventure and exploration of this beautiful world. I really wanted to create an experience that encompassed everything because these are the elements that truly have helped me transform in my life. One of the most impactful things that I believe we do on the retreat are a mixture of cold plunging, hot plunging, usually sauna, so like hot and cold contrast therapy. And then the group meditations, breath work, and guided journaling prompts are incredibly powerful. Typically, in those, that's where sometimes for the first time ever, people are understanding what it means to connect to the divine within. Meditation has been such a beautiful tool for me to become aware. I remember the first time I did it, I was like, oh my gosh, there is this divine spirit that is within me that I just didn't know was there before. I think often we're not taught how to connect with the divine within. So it really is a passion of mine to create opportunities and experiences where people can start to become aware to that source within, because once you tap into that source within, you start to align yourself with the highest version of you in your life. And I believe that when you do that, you step into divine flow, divine alignment, and that's when life starts to truly flow in the highest respect. So in the way that you were always meant to flow in.
I love everything you're saying, and I'm listening very carefully because you make a lot of sense, and a lot of people are listening to you saying it's exactly what they need to hear right now at that point in their lives where they're either stuck or they're feeling like they're, in a dark place. So this is great. Now, personal development often requires consistency and discipline. How do you help your clients and program participants stay on track and maintain their motivation throughout the 33-day journey of the butterfly effect?
Yes, we have a daily checklist in the butterfly effect. And essentially, it's just a checklist of different elements that they need to hit every single day. One of those practices is meditation. I just put a 5-minute meditation on there. So sometimes people think it has to be this long 30-minute ordeal. It could just be 5 minutes. It could be 3 minutes of you taking time to breathe, to take your awareness off of the external world and to go inward. Often people are unaware of what they're experiencing within. And so by just creating this practice of stillness and presence, they can start to become aware to what's happening within, and then they can't ignore it anymore. Oftentimes we get busy with the external because we're trying to avoid feelings that we have within. So one of the ways that we stay accountable is by checking that off every single day. And the reason why I made it 33 days is because I wanted to show people how incredibly powerful they really are, how in just 33 days, they can make a massive difference and a massive transformation in their life. So I think that's important because when it's 33 days, it's just short enough for people to not give themselves excuses. If it was like a 90-day program, they're like, oh, I missed today, or oh, I missed a few days. When it's 33, they're fire. There's fire underneath them, right? They have pressure underneath them where they're like, I only have 30 days left. So in that short amount of time frame, we can really create momentum for them to create a transformation in their life.
Well said. Now, your partnership with Once Upon a Coconut is quite unique. Once Upon a Coconut seems to have a lot of athletes and VIPs and celebrities endorsing the product and the brand. Why do you think they have taken off as fast as they have? And why do you think there's so many celebrity endorsements?
Well, here's the thing. I think number one, the product is amazing. It tastes amazing and it does what it says it's going to do. That's like baseline standard. They wouldn't get anywhere even with endorsements if that wasn't there. So I believe that that's the foundation. And then I think the second thing is the owners and the people behind the brand itself are incredible individuals. And I just believe that they are taking an aligned path to truly create a difference in this world. First, through the base layer of creating an amazing product that people love. And then secondly, through a lot of their charity work and the things that they're doing to create a real impact in this world. And I really do believe that when good people create good products and make money, they're able to do incredible things in this world. So I want to see all the abundance for people and brands like Once Upon a Coconut.
Emily, thank you so much for coming on. You're so inspirational. We're out of time. I feel like I could talk to you forever. Our thoughts and our views of life in the world are so aligned, and it was very refreshing chatting with you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Guys, it's one thing to introduce a premium coconut water that tastes better than anything you've ever tried before, but it's truly something else to give back to the communities and people that truly need it. That's why for every case of Once Upon a Coconut sold, you donate 10% to a charity that they select every month. Pretty incredible stuff. That was our Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. And that was the amazing Emily Hayden. You could check her out on the gram at Emily Hayden. You can also check out her podcast at Evolve with Emily Podcast or at Evolve with Emily Retreats. Head to onceuponacoconut.com to get your case today. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, 100% pure coconut water. Imagine a drink that's nutrient-rich, powerfully refreshing, naturally sweet with no added sugars, not from concentrate, zero additives, low in calories, absolutely no artificial flavors, and is so tasty that it will become your new favorite beverage. Enter Once Upon a Coconut, the absolute best tasting coconut water you will ever try. Available in 4 refreshing flavors: pure, chocolate, pineapple, and sparkling with energy. Do your taste buds a favor and pick up some today at onceuponacoconut.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CO2Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2Lift. CO2Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home carboxytherapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase in luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance. For more information or to order CO2Lift, go to CO2Lift.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York iHeart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up in just a few minutes in our Going Deep segment, brought to you by CO2Lift. Today, we're joined by beauty expert and industry trailblazer Lana Kerr, CEO and founder of CO2Lift and Lumisque Skincare. She joins me in studio today to help me kick off Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Now, when it comes to gender equality at the highest level, the beauty industry comes out on top. In a recent report by Ledbetter, which is a research group that measures the gender disparity across big-name companies, it found that beauty outranked every other profession in terms of the highest percentage of women seen on the board and in executive positions. Unfortunately, that number was 29%. 29%, which paints an incredibly bleak and a very real picture about how far we are from achieving equal representation. For a business that caters largely to women and that's built on the dollars women spend, it's aggravating to see that in 2023, it's still rare for a woman to reach the upper echelons of a major corporation, unless, of course, you're Lana Kerr. She joins me in studio right now at iHeart headquarters right here in Midtown Manhattan. We're chatting female empowerment, loving the skin you're in, her amazing career, how she got started in skincare, surprising facts that people don't know about her, and what it's like to be a female entrepreneur in the male-dominated world of plastic surgery. Welcoming now to the show is the beautiful and talented Lana Kerr. Welcome to the show, Stunner.
It's good to be here, Zen. And nice to be in this facility today.
You are such a trailblazer in your field, and I love the business that you have built. So let's start at the beginning. Can you tell us about your journey and how you got started in the beauty industry?
So, I have a finance and accounting background, went back to school, studied nutrition, and then opened weight loss centers. I really have always had a passion for health and wellness, and that's really what got me started in that field. So then forward 20 years, we decided to open a spa because, when people lost weight, then they wanted to feel better in their skin and look better. So we figured, let's offer them some of those services. So we opened up the spa and was really looking for, what is going to be the next big thing? What can change people's skin? Because in our weight loss program, we had something that was different, that was very effective, and so we wanted the same for the skin business. And so that's how Lumisque was born.
That's such a great transition, because now we're going to segue to carboxytherapy really quickly, because this is at the base of it all. Now, as a brand ambassador for your company, which I'm extremely proud to be in because I stand behind the products that I endorse, and I'm currently using carboxytherapy for my own skin rejuvenation. Now, carboxytherapy has many proprietary uses, and with this non-invasive procedure involving the therapeutic use of carbon dioxide for skin regeneration, we are really seeing great results. And when infused into the skin, CO2, as you know better than anyone else, but we're talking to our audience now, guys, it immediately diffuses at the cutaneous and muscular microcirculatory levels, resulting in higher tissue oxygenation and neoangiogenesis. I know that this sounds like a lot of big words. Lana's going to break it down for us, but it's basically the blood vessels that are widening, increasing the transport of oxygen body tissue for cellular regeneration and anti-inflammatory effects. And it's a treatment that's been around since the 1930s, though the method of delivery has improved since then with a gel delivery system called CO2Lift. Bringing me full circle to, because I did the heavy lifting, Lana, what inspired you to create CO2Lift and Lumisque Skincare?
So, I'm all about things that are different. Really, if I go back into everything that I've ever done, it's always been something that I see a need in an area. And CO2 fill that need. Why? Because many people were looking for something non-invasive. I was looking for something non-invasive and yet effective and that yet is safe. And so we looked at carboxy, and as you mentioned, since the 1930s, carboxy has been around in an injectable form where you get a tank of CO2 gas, put it into the skin, and that would quickly regenerate the skin. So we wanted another method that was non-invasive. And so we looked into Japan, and we found a group of scientists that actually patented a delivery system for a gel delivery system. So again, that's painless and yet is going to produce even better effects. And it's also, because of the gel delivery system, there is more applications to use it. So CO2 was born then, CO2 Lift for the face, and then eventually we got into CO2 Lift V for the vulvovaginal tissue.
You have such an array of products when it comes to your roadmap in the company, because you're truly not just catering directly to the consumer, but also dealing directly with the doctors and the medical providers. And that brings me to my next question. So empowerment is a central theme in your work. Can you share some insights on how you believe skincare and beauty can empower individuals, especially women?
Yes, I am big into that in so many areas of my life. Empowerment with my friends, with my family. I believe that that's something that we should give to each other. But certainly in skincare, it's people, when they look at us, that's what they're seeing first and foremost. But I think even before that, you're looking at yourself. You have to feel confident in who you are, and skin plays a big part of that. And so when you can very quickly bring back youthfulness to your skin, regardless of your age, and I'm not talking about necessarily wrinkles, because wrinkles is one thing. You can do things for wrinkles, and this can help with wrinkles, but I'm talking about quality of the skin. It's going to make you feel more confident. And I think when you feel more confident, then you're going to be a nicer, better person. You're going to perform better in every area of your life. So that's how the CO2, and then on the vaginal end, the empowerment comes with the fact that, so for so many years, we as women had no solution to some of the conditions or symptoms that result from aging. We don't even talk about our vulvovaginal skin. In fact, in so many people don't even like to say the word vulva or vagina. But I think we're bringing that back. We're making it commonplace, and I'm glad so many other women are doing the same. But also with the CO2 Lift, because it's addressing areas that women can lose their confidence in or lose their enjoyment in, and because we're replacing that or reversing that, you can empower yourself in the bedroom, in every area of your life, just feeling more confident as a woman. We want to continue to bring these type of products for women and help them in this way.
And you're doing such a great job. Now, can you describe a memorable success story or customer testimonial that really reflects the impact of your product on people's lives?
Zen, there's so many. I think one that comes to mind, first of all, I have to tell you with myself, I think for anything that I am passionate about is because I have seen the results. So I've seen the results, and it has empowered me for my skin as well as in my intimate life. But I'm going to talk about someone who's become a very good friend of mine, actually who's working for us now. Rebecca, she's in LA. We're the same age when she was in her 40s or late 40s when she discovered that she had breast cancer. And she was recently married and just had a baby. So you can imagine the impact that it had on her relationship, because one of the things that people don't really talk about is that once you go through chemotherapy, one of the things that radiation and chemotherapy can do is damage the vaginal tissue. So it makes it very thin. So sexual intimacy is very uncomfortable. And of course, she's just recently married, So yes, she survived breast cancer. She's feeling good. But then how do you continue to live with that quality of life that you were accustomed to? So her GYN referred her to the CO2 Lift V because it's non-hormonal and yet is going to give her the results she wanted. And because of the type of results she received, her relationship with her husband, everything just improved. She wanted to meet me, and when we met, then she ended up working with us. So we're really happy to have her on board. But we have those stories times 1,000.
That's a great success story. And it's more important to also point out, and we'll tie it up because I don't want to go too much into just this product, because I want to talk to you about your incredible career and your path. But it's important to note that CO2 Lift Pro is a medical monotherapy, and it's very effective because there's two uses here. So for me, it was great for my severely dry skin. My husband had itchy skin on the scalp of his head. It really, really sped the recovery of some of the open wounds from the eczema and the psoriasis because, again, it increased blood flow. But also great, I want to let people know, as an aesthetic monotherapy, because your fine lines, your wrinkles, your creepy skin, the dark circles, the inflamed skin, all the textural imbalances, dehydration. For me, it was enlarged pores, dull tone. It was one of the best products that I've used, and it was non-invasive. And what I like best is it's safe when applied to the upper eyelids and on mucosal membranes, which I'm very sloppy with. So big shout out to that. Now, your journey as a founder and CEO must have taught you some invaluable lessons. What leadership principles do you prioritize in your role, and how do they shape the ethos of your company's culture?
So, leading is very important, and you always have to lead by example. But one of the things that I take very seriously is, we talk about empowerment, but even empowerment as a leadership quality that we bring to the team. We want everyone who works with us, and our team is right now, we have close to 100 people on our team. We want them to feel empowered. So knowledge is very important, keeping them up to date with what's important with regarding to product, as well as even in how to sell or whatever role or position they have. Training and knowledge is very important to us, as well as personal life. I think that, we always talk about work-life balance. And as far as I see it, that's just I don't even know what that means. You need to put first things first, and everything else seems to go along with that. But with our team, it's always important to me that they're taking care of their personal life, because I feel like once that is covered, they're going to be better at what they do. So that balance, I don't even know how to necessarily describe it, but whatever that is for them, that's something that we want to take into account. So that's important to us, as well as an open door policy. I don't think that I know everything, and I've always tried to surround myself with people who know more than I do. And so I always welcome their suggestions. I'm not a negative person, and so I always tell the team that when you have something to talk about, make sure you have a solution, a suggested solution. So those are some of the things that I think has helped us to continue to grow and help us to continue to have a great synergy with all of us that work together at Lumisque.
And it's great that you point out that you are really, really aware of what goes on in your employees' lives, and you advocate for their internal and personal happiness, because that balance does translate into the workforce. And what you just described, Lana, is you're leading by example, but it's also, there's a difference between being a leader and being a boss. And you are a leader. And that's very different, because no one likes their boss, but everyone loves a leader, right? Now, what advice would you give, and this is a question I've been dying to ask you, to female entrepreneurs who aspire to make their mark in traditionally male-dominated fields like the one that you're in?
That's such an interesting question. I've never really looked at. I don't look at the negatives in any situation. So even you pointed out earlier, which those statistics are remarkable in how even in this field, the males dominate. However, I always think of just presenting yourself with the best qualities that you can, in terms of your work ethic, in terms of your word, your truthfulness, how hard you're willing to drive, your perseverance, your leadership actions, being a woman of action, not just talking about it, but being about it. I think that in any industry, and as you mentioned, so many are male dominated, even the skincare one, I think it's still about just presenting those qualities and just being your best self. And that's what I've done.
I think respect is earned. And I think in your industry, you have earned the respect from your peers, whether they are male or female, because you are so knowledgeable and so full of proper, sound business etiquette that when you make your decisions, whether it's a man or a woman listening to you, it just makes sense, right? So I think in general, when you come to the table prepared, when people know that you're on your A game, you've crossed all your T's, you've dotted all your I's, you know the science you're promoting, you know the product you're promoting, you know your double-blind studies, you work with the consumer, the customer, the provider, the doctor, you have your work cut out for you, because not everybody can balance what you do. So big my the hat comes off to you, Lana. And more importantly, we're talking about October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Now, this is the month where we're celebrating survival stories, previvor stories, and making sure that women have all the information that they need, because it's extremely important to spread awareness, to create enough opportunity for women out there who are suffering from breast cancer or who have battled it or survived it or have a loved one dealing with it, that there are solutions, there are alternatives, and there are products, more importantly, that can really help change your life, just like the one that you have here at your company, CO2 Lift. Now, your journey as a founder and CEO is extremely different than the average. You have had quite the interesting path. Can you share some surprising or lesser known facts about yourself that people might not be aware of?
I think one that comes readily to mind is that I was a pig farmer.
You were a pig farmer?
Yes. My father had a company that would provide milk and juices to the hotels and to the supermarkets. So when he would bring spoiled milk back, we would just throw it away. And I was thinking, what a waste. There must be something that we can do with spoiled milk. And then I talked to a couple of people and they're like, pigs love spoiled milk. So I started raising pigs. And in Jamaica, where I'm from, jerk pork is a big thing. And the farm was in Old Harbor. So I would get the spoiled milk, raise the pigs, and then we had callaloo, which is like spinach. I would give them the callaloo and I would give them the spoiled milk. It's so interesting. My father wanted to start charging me for the spoiled milk when he was throwing it away initially. But yeah, that was an interesting thing. It's funny because after that, it was very hard for me to eat to eat pork.
This explains why you are a vegan.
Yes, well, yes. Recently became a vegan, but yes, certainly pork was one of the things that when you raise them, you can understand. You'll see why.
It's like getting drunk on Southern Comfort, and then you never want to see it again. Like you're like, no way. You've had way too much pig in your life.
Yes, that's for sure.
Okay, if you could, we're at the end of this fantastic date. If you could give your younger self, one piece of advice, what would it be? I've asked you this before.
You have I respond differently every time because there's so many things I would like to tell her. But I think the one thing I would tell her is, Lana, just be true to who you are. Don't try to please everyone else. Understand who you are and just follow that, because I think that when people are truthful, when you're sincere, when you're in your truth, you attract all the good and the success that you want. Just be true to who you are.
Great advice. And with that, we are out of time. Lana, thank you so much for stopping by. It was a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you, Zen. You're always amazing. Thank you.
That was our Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift. Definitely head to their website and check them out, CO2Lift.com. You can check them out on the gram at CO2 Lift. And definitely do check out the amazing, the beautiful, the talented Lana Kerr at the Lana Kerr with 2 R's. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CO2 Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2 Lift. CO2 Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home carboxytherapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase in luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance. For more information or to order CO2 Lift, go to CO2Lift.com. A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Caldwell Soames Incorporated, investing globally in transformative businesses like Original Digital Corporation, or ODC. ODC develops advanced consumer and commercial fintech solutions such as OG Pay, which will transform the way you manage your money. From sending and receiving money globally for free, paying for goods and services in person and online, pay bills, buy and sell digital currencies, all while earning interest. OG Pay is easy to set up, FDIC insured, and your information is secured. Check out ogpay.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Coming up in our disability awareness segment brought to you by ogpay.com, today we're featuring medical mama and influencer Dawn Cosgrove. Dawn is a 52-year-old mother of 5, married to Tom for almost 20 years. She has a 28-year-old stepson, 25, 27, and 28-year-old daughters, and 2 granddaughters. In 2016, she and Tom adopted Parimala from India. Little P was diagnosed with a condition called MOPD type CNPJ. It stands for microcephalic osteodysplastic primordial dwarfism, a very rare genetic disorder that primarily affects a person's growth and development. To make matters worse, in 2019, they discovered that little P also had a gene that causes limb girdle muscular dystrophy, a group of genetic disorders that primarily affect the muscles, specifically the muscles of the shoulder and hips. Dawn was a registered nurse for many years and worked with children who were medically fragile. Since adopting P, she tends to her care daily and chooses to not work outside the home. Today, she joins me to chat disability awareness, demystifying stigmas, raising awareness, and the importance of inclusion. Welcoming now to the show is the incredible Dawn Cosgrove. Welcome to the show, Super Mama.
Hi, Zen. How are you?
I'm doing great. So let's dive right in here. You are the true definition of mom. Can you tell us about your journey as a mother of 5 and grandmother, including your experiences as a stepmom, and why you and your husband, Tom, decided to adopt Parimala at young 7 years old from India back in 2016?
Oh, gosh. So, yeah, I have 3 bio daughters and separated from their dad. He had left. So I married Tom when his son was 10 and my oldest was 10 and the other ones were 9 and 7. So yeah, I mean, we already had our hands full with a blended family for sure. We had no intentions on adopting. It wasn't anything we ever spoke of, but we were doing missions work. We did some missions work in Guatemala. We had taken the children, really get them out there and see another part of the world and see how easy they have it. And then our pastor had suggested that we go to India for some mission work. And we were kind of against it, we really weren't feeling it. And, we said, well, we could pray on it and see what's going to happen. But we were actually going to Disney World that summer. And I was like, well, we don't really have the money to also go to India as well. And my husband received a check in the mail for $4,000 from unclaimed funds. So that was our exact airfare to India.
Wow.
So, yeah. So we were like, well, I guess we're supposed to be in India for sure. So being a nurse that works with special needs children, we had some people from our church that had gone to a special needs orphanage. And I said, well, I definitely want to spend some time there when we go. So we had done that and we were working there. And Parimala she was only 2 years old at the time, and she weighed 7 pounds and she was just wonderful. And the lady who ran the orphanage had asked us about adopting, and we were like, oh, no, we're good. We're good. Our kids are about to go into high school, all 4 of them, and then we're going to have some time to ourselves. And she's from America and runs this special needs orphanage in India. And she contacted me through Facebook once I got home and said that people were looking to adopt her. And every time she prayed on it, all she got was us. So she said, if you could please just give it a chance and pray on it. And we did, and God pretty much hit us over the head with a hammer.
Wow, what an incredible story. Now, how did you first learn about P's condition? Because this is a very rare genetic disorder we're talking about. Was it disclosed to you at the beginning?
So they weren't really sure because it was India, and so they were thinking maybe she had Sickle syndrome. They had just kind of done some research on the internet. So, but, in looking at her, I knew it had something to do with primordial dwarfism. So I had done some research, and the hospital in Delaware came up, Nemours Hospital, where they actually have a geneticist who specializes with MOPD. So I reached out to them and they were like, okay, they're like, once the adoption is final, you'll let us know and we'll set you up, and we'll figure out exactly what she does have. So
what are her current limitations and what steps have you taken to provide the best possible care for her?
So first I just wanted to say she has just type CENPJ. So they've categorized the kids. There's about 250 kids in the whole world, and there's 2 doctors, one in Scotland and one in Delaware, who have categorized the kids into different categories by their DNA and their genetic makeups and their characteristics. P doesn't fit into any of those. She's in her own category all by herself. So they can't really predict what it's going to be like, in the future, or what medical problems she'll have. So her limitations, she is 14 years old and she's currently 44.5 inches tall. Her head is smaller than a newborn baby's head. It's about 33 centimeters around. When she was born, she had a cleft palate, and they tried to fix that in India, but didn't do a very good job. So when she came home, we had the palate fixed immediately, and they did a wonderful job here. And so that has led to speech issues and, other things. We're also, cognitive wise, we're not exactly sure where she lands. Obviously she has microcephaly, so that affects her cognitive ability. She has fused elbows. Her elbows are fused at about a 90-degree angle. So it's very hard for her to dress herself or to put small foods in her mouth. She can use a fork and a spoon, and she can drink from a water bottle really well because it's big, so it reaches her mouth. So once she had a growth spurt and her arms grew so much, it was more difficult for her to be able to reach her face or her mouth or things like that.
It's interesting because this conversation is reminding me of God never gives you more than you can handle. And you had a career as an RN and worked with medically fragile children. How has your background in nursing influenced your approach to caring for P and advocating for disability awareness?
Well, it's funny because I said God he starts that plan way earlier than we could even think of. I started working with special needs kids when I was 18. So, and I just had such a love for them from day one. So my background has really helped a lot. A big thing I would say, I worked in a lot of the school systems and a lot of the programs, locally with the kids that I worked with. I would go with them to school if they needed a nurse. And so I was able to know that there wasn't a program that was going to be appropriate for her. I knew that right off the bat. So that's why I stopped working and I've been home with her. I mostly homeschool her. The school is responsible, though. They do send a teacher out when they have one.
And you're doing it all. You're doing it all at this point.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. I drive her to PT, OT, and speech. I do the education. She gets music therapy remotely. So on the computer, we're able to do that. And then I take her to therapeutic horseback riding, art class. She just got her orange belt in Taekwondo, dance class. So I try to keep.
You are such a good mom, Dawn. You are incredible. Now, could you share maybe some of the challenges, you make it sound easy, that you faced as a caregiver for a child with a rare genetic disorder and how you've overcome them?
I would say the biggest challenge we have is medical appointments and just having to schedule all those medical appointments. That's probably the thing that stresses me the most. And as someone who's worked with medically fragile children and worked in their houses and became very close to the families, I have told them and I've spoken to them frequently. And I said, I'm humbled. I never realized how much work it was. I have been so humbled to now be the mom of a special needs child with medical issues because it's really overwhelming. And she's generally healthy.
You have your work cut out for you on every level. Now you deal with a ton of nasty comments on social media from people who are ignorant and uneducated and lack empathy. What
Yes.
stigmas do you wish to demystify when it comes to P's disability?
She's just a 14-year-old girl. She's a teenager. There's, people will say stuff about her, that she looks different or she shouldn't be here. And, who are you to say that? She's a 14-year-old girl. She's a teenager. She has fun. She enjoys life. She is just the biggest comedian that you will meet. And she has such a zest for life. She really does. And she loves Jesus. I mean, she will tell everybody about Jesus being in her heart.
My heart is so full hearing that. And that warms my heart that she's so connected to a higher power. Now, as a mother, what advice would you give to other parents who are raising children with disabilities, especially those who may be feeling overwhelmed and isolated?
I would say one day at a time. I really try to just focus on what's on our schedule for today. And one of the things that we deal with P a lot is trauma. So besides the medical issues and everything, she has a lot of trauma from being in an orphanage for 7.5 years and God knows what else. So I just have to do one thing at a time. And sometimes it's not even one day at a time. Sometimes it's 1 hour at a time. And when she's in that trauma season, I can't push her. I have to go with her. I have to be on the floor with her. And I have to just see, okay, what's going to make you feel better right now? School doesn't matter right now. Sports don't matter right now, whatever. What matters right now is P's well-being and her getting through the day and in whatever way it looks like. So I think it's okay. Like if you have an autistic child or something like that, and they want to stim by watching something on their iPad, it's okay to do that. You don't have to feel guilty about it. And I have probably up until this year. So
you're doing a great job. You have done more than the average person could provide in your circumstances. And you are doing a phenomenal job. And like you said, when people notice, you are humbled by your process, but I am humbled by listening to your process. When I see you on social media and I see you post incredible videos of P really enjoying life and being happy and people sending her gifts, I mean, what more can you do? So we have about a minute left and this is the final question. So lastly, how has your nearly 20-year marriage to Tom provided support and strength throughout your family's unique journey? And do you have any tips for maintaining a strong and resilient partnership in the face of challenges?
It's been a rough ride. It definitely has. I mean, our faith has definitely helped us through and brought us along. Tom is a teacher. He's a high school teacher. So he's been very good at supporting us and just, going with the flow of things. He's learned a lot over the years. I mean, being the dad to just a boy and then suddenly he's a dad to 3 girls and now a special needs child. So he's really learned a lot. And you'll often find him like laying on the ground with P or reading a book or just snuggling. He really supports the older kids constantly. When they call, more often than not, they want to talk to dad. So because they have a question about whatever, finances or cars or something. So yeah, I mean, it's just, we just keep going.
Keep going. Yes. And you have done an incredible job. We are out of time. Is there a piece of advice that you could give to your younger self? What would it be?
Oh, don't think that your life is going to be this normal life. And what is normal? Like, just go with the flow. Whatever God's sending your way, accept it, that he knows what he's doing and he's got a plan way bigger than what your plan could ever be.
You are amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Zen, so much for having me.
Guys, that was our disability awareness segment brought to you by OGPay.com. That was the incredible Dawn Cosgrove, medical adoptive mama and influencer advocating for her daughter P. You can head directly to the gram at Lil_Miss_Sweet P. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Caldwell Soames Incorporated, investing globally in transformative businesses like Original Digital Corporation, or ODC. ODC develops advanced consumer and commercial fintech solutions such as OGPay, which will transform the way you manage your money. From sending and receiving money globally for free, paying for goods and services in person and online, pay bills, buy and sell digital currencies, all while earning interest. OGPay is easy to set up, FDIC insured, and your information is secured. Check out OGPay.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV.
Hi, this is Kathy Ireland here on A Moment of Zen, brought to you by Your Home TV. We've developed an all-inclusive subscription-free network that you're going to love, whether it's financial freedom, fashion, beauty, health and wellness, wonderful weddings, travel and culture, cooking, entertainment, and short-form documentaries, programming for everyone. Classic films and new shows, including Kathy Ireland Presents American Dreams. We've developed this network just for you. Please check out yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio.
Welcome back, beautiful New York City. I'm your host, Zen Sams, here on FinTech TV, live from the iconic New York Stock Exchange, right here in downtown Manhattan. Today, we're featuring Brandon Dawson, author of 9-Figure Mindset, how to go from zero to over 100 million in net worth. He's the co-founder and CEO of Cardone Ventures with business partner Grant Cardone, which in less than 4 years went from startup to 130 million in revenue with over 200 employees. Today we're chatting about his new book, 9-Figure Mindset, Scaling Your Business 10X, and how he sold his last company for an astonishing $151 million. Welcoming now to the show is the amazing Brandon Dawson. Welcome, superstar.
Thank you. Great to be here with you.
Absolutely. Congratulations on your new book. You can now officially add author to your many list of accomplishments. So tell me, can you provide an overview of Cardone Ventures and its core business?
Sure. We're a business education and scaling organization. So we help business owners learn how to grow and scale and create massive value, and then they hire us to engineer their business and then manage it for them.
Interesting. So you've been at this for quite some time right now, and more importantly, there's one quote by Grant Cardone, and the quote is, "Don't be confused by what looks lucky to you. Lucky people don't make successful people. People who completely commit themselves to success seem to get lucky in life." And that's exactly what you have done. And congratulations to you. You've come a very, very, very long way. Now, how has Cardone Ventures performed financially over the last few years? Do share.
Yeah, great question. We started up 4 years ago, and in 4 years we've generated, with no outside capital, no debt, actually no invested capital at all, entirely organically, we've generated $275 million of revenue and over $100 million of EBITDA.
Wow, those are big numbers. I mean, you're known for saying that success isn't about working harder, but about ensuring you're striving towards the right goals and in the right direction. And I always say, and we've said this before in past interviews, build your factory mentality, right? Great example is Andy Warhol. We've said this time and time again. We've talked about this, but you probably know Andy Warhol is one brilliant artist and one of the founders of the pop art movement, but it was his business acumen, right? It was him being able to scale and his ability to mass produce art that made it all possible. So when you talk about that mentality, you could do it in art, you could do it in services, you could do it in business, and you're doing it over and over again. 9-figure mindset right here. Now, talk to me, what markets be it geographical or segment-wise, are you looking to expand Cardone Ventures into?
Well, the small to mid-sized business space is over $12 trillion of revenue. It's entirely underserved. It's so fragmented. And it's a goldmine of opportunity, not only for potential investors, but for the entrepreneurs, the founders, those individuals that make up that $12 trillion space. Cardone Ventures is creating a path, a vehicle, a marketplace for them to access capital, to be able to access the best practices, resources, things that normally are not afforded to the small business owner.
You know, I'm going to go back to one of those quotes, and it's success tends to be those who are most committed to giving it the most attention. And that's exactly back to your 9-figure mindset and everything that's the ethos of Cardone Ventures. Now, about a decade ago, I first learned about a principle for maximizing time, and it was, of course, pioneered by legendary, you know this, John Maxwell. He calls it the 10-80-10 principle, and I understand that you have a book, and he is part of this ethos, and serendipitously it involves John Maxwell. Tell us about that and how that falls in alignment with what you guys are doing at Cardone Ventures.
Yeah, so John Maxwell actually wrote the foreword to my book. He's a dear friend of mine. I started working with him in his business about 11 or 12 years ago, and we had so much success together. He became a firm believer in what we did for the small business space, and so he wanted to be the one to write my foreword, and he's a dear friend of mine, great global leader, great example of someone who thinks bigger and does more, and so it was a pleasure for me to have him write my foreword.
It's so important to have mentorship, right? Because I know enough to know that I don't know everything, and so I'm always learning, and you learn by example, and having a mentor and having somebody in your corner like Maxwell, that's a huge, you know, that's a big endorsement, right? That's a big endorsement, especially when it comes to authoring a book. Now, last question. So, thank you for your time, but more importantly, how do we get your book, 9-Figure Mindset?
Yeah, well, it's coming out September 19th. You can go pre-order it right now on Amazon, and I'll tell you, we've had a lot of success with this book. You know, I rang the opening bell of the American Stock Exchange when I was 29 years old. I talk about it in this book because I thought I was on top of the world, and I had a lot of setbacks. I had to restart, reset, and do it again. I'm on my 3rd iteration, and this book talks about how not to give up.
Wow. So 29 years old
That's right.
is when you rang the bell right here at the iconic New York Stock Exchange.
That's correct.
And I don't want to reveal your age because he does look really young. But what I will say is not only have you come full circle, but this is exactly where you're supposed to be. There are no coincidences. And this book, my friend, is a testament to your hard work and to your dedication, not only to the industry, but to the fans that follow you, to your business partner, to your family, to your wife. So congratulations.
Thank you.
You guys definitely have to go get this book. It's out September
19th.
September 19th. Guys, you definitely have to check out Brandon Dawson. Listen, around 74% of startups fail due to premature scaling, which happens when a growing business hires new employees, adds too many features, and enters new markets before fully establishing its products and business plans. So, before you decide to scale your business, make sure you have established a solid foundation and definite goals, and definitely check out Brandon Dawson's new book, 9-Figure Mindset, How to Go from Zero to Over 100 Million in Net Worth. I'm your host, Zen Sam's, live here from the iconic New York Stock Exchange here on FinTech TV. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV.
Hi, this is Kathy Ireland here on A Moment of Zen, brought to you by Your Home TV. We've developed an all-inclusive subscription-free network that you're going to love, whether it's financial freedom, fashion, beauty, health and wellness, wonderful weddings, travel and culture, cooking, entertainment, and short-form documentaries, programming for everyone. Classic films and new shows, including Kathy Ireland Presents American Dreams. We've developed this network just for you. Please check out yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on WOR, the voice of New York, iHeart Radio.
Well, that's a wrap, my dear friends. Remember to join me right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, every Saturday night from 9 to 10 p.m. Or you could head to 710WOR.iHeart.com/A Moment of Zen. Also remember that we're live on Traverse TV Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern. YouTube Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern, and all episodes of A Moment of Zen are available on Kathy Ireland's Your Home TV streaming platform. That's free programming for you. You could head directly to mox.yourhometv.com. Thank you for listening to A Moment of Zen. It's been an absolute pleasure being your host. Thanks again to all of our sponsors that continue to make this show possible. And remember, happiness is the only thing that multiplies when you share it. We'll see you next week.